Hey guys, welcome back to the Frugal Homestead. So today we're going to be rebuilding the daka wood burner. It's a rainy day here at the homestead. Figured it's good to come inside here, kind of get it all prepped up for the next coming year. Got a lot of rebuilding to do, so come along with us and we'll get this thing back in working order. Alright, first thing we got to do is go and do an overall inspection to see what all we need to redo. We already know, because I talked about it in the last video, the damper needs rebuilt. We've already ordered the kit and I've got it. Alright. Next, we see that the front here needs painted. Now the problem with this is, if I painted this right now, it would all fall off. Even if I cleaned the metal with a wire brush, it would fall off or burn off. When you're using stove black, the surface you're going to paint needs to be warm. So we will be doing the stove black painting later. Also because I can't have the camera in here because it'll get speckles all over the screen because it goes airborne, and I have to have a big blower fan running to get the paint particles out of this room. So we won't be painting this. It will get done. I will share some pictures of that on our Instagram when we get to that point. Alright, so inside back there, and I'll try and zoom in on editing, there is busted fire bricks from my boys tossing logs in there. Now, we'll go in there and we will pull them out and change them out. Now, the grate down inside there is also very, very clogged up because it basically closes in the holes as we burn. So I'll pull that out. My wife's a pro at cleaning that off with a wire brush. We'll get all this cleaned out and emptied. So that'll finish up the inside of that. Now let's go inspect the back. Okay, now as you can see, our elbow here, we check it all, especially under here, because these are bad about wearing out under here. Alright, but this is solid, everything looks good. And we follow it up to our boot hole out the roof. It is pouring down rain outside, but nothing's wet, which means we're not leaking. This is the perfect time to be checking it to make sure. So we're good to go on this front too. So overall in the back, the only thing I can see is maybe vacuuming off this a little bit and adding some more tape. Now let's go take a look at the plenium and the heat runs. Alright, our plenium could use a little tape added. We're starting to get a little fraying from where the tape's letting go on some of our pipe runs. So we'll get some tape, get those wrapped back up as best we can. It never really is perfect, but it never hurts to add a little bit. And then we're going to clean this with a vacuum and then look at retaping down. Now as you see, there used to be like a cement here. So once I clean this off, the same time I do the blackening, I'll re-put some of that stove cement back in here. But it's got to be hot. All the products that stick to wood burners and stuff, the metal has to be hot. If it's cold, the moisture in it separates and it won't stick. So we better get started. Alright, so we tried to get the grate out, but unfortunately the bricks were so broken they were overhanging the grate and holding it down. So I have to bust them out, pull them all out because they're already broke, and then we'll have to replace all of them. This is going to be a long job.
Rebuilding a wood burner is a very dirty job, so make sure you wear clothes that are appropriate. So this is our grate. We normally have to clean this out a couple times a year. When you are burning green wood, you'll have to clean it out more often. because it clogs up more. When you burn seasoned wood, the more seasoned your wood is, the less you will have to clean this. So to start out with, I'm going to start with a wire brush. Sometimes you'll need another tool, a screwdriver, just to stick in the holes, because if your wood was a little bit greener, more will stick in there. So I use this just to clean out around the holes.
Okay guys, now as you can see, Missy did a wonderful job of cleaning it out, cleaning the grate, pulling out the fire brick there, putting in the new, dropping the grate back in. It's all been cleaned off and ready to go. Now we will probably throw some of the ashes back in to give it a bed before we do our first burn. But it's time to move on to the next part, which is rebuilding the automatic damper in the front. Alright, so it's time to rebuild the damper. Now honestly, I've never done this before. I bought their rebuild kit instead of the fully assembled one, so this may go good, it may go bad. We don't know. The way I start with mine is, I made this lip here, this hook. This holds the cold air that goes to the outside. Essentially, this makes a giant circle of air. When it comes up your pipe and out, then the air pressure is coming out. But to bring air pressure in, because this building's somewhat sealed up, I installed this pipe here going outside. This brings fresh air from outside in and through the damper system. So we got to pop that off first. And then just comes out of the way. I don't have it hard attached, it just goes through the hole in the metal wall. Now I have to pull off the screws around the side, rebuild it, and put it back on. Let's see how this goes. Alright guys, so the rebuild is done. It's got a new bearing, it's got a new stretch spring, new knob. We didn't bother to put the new faceplate, cover plate on, sticker thing, because they never go on straight anyways. It doesn't really matter, ours still looks pretty good, it works. But of course, because nothing can be easy on a Homestead, the top two bolts snap the heads off. So I'm going to drill those and get them set up with new screws and washers, new self-tapping metal screws and washers, and we'll get this reattached. I also have to put the chain mount through the spring right there, but I'm not going to put this on there until I get those two screws drilled out so that I can remount this. So we'll be back as soon as I get that together. Alright guys, so that was kind of a pain in the butt. Drilling this thing was not as easy as you would think. We actually ended up having to pull out the DeWalt bits for heavy metal. And we drilled 2 new holes and then put in machine screws with washers. Technically the 2 that were on the bottom that were still good would have held it, but better do it closer to right than, you know, not. So things on there solid now. It's not coming off. Everything functions as it should. Nice and tight. Ready to go for the season. Now, the next step will be to tape everything up. Okay guys, so we got this pipe taped up. That pipe's all taped up now. That corner's taped back up. We ran a ridge around the base. I'll also be coming back and using some mortar caulk in here, high heat caulk. Now, one thing we didn't address is our door rope. I've already replaced it, so it's still good. Around back here, you can see we added some more to the box, the air dam box, back in, as well as along the edge here. So now, it's time to go outside and clean the cap and put a brush down the pipe to clean out the chimney. Alright guys, so now we're going to take the cap and pipe off and clean them. So we take our cap off. The first thing I do is hit it, knock the stuff off of it. Then I take a wire brush. Knocked all the loose stuff off everywhere you can. The cleaner you get it, the better. Just means less cleaning next time. So that's not too bad. Check it, make sure it hasn't burnt through anywhere, any bad spots, because if there is, you need to replace it. Okay, now the next step is to actually clean the pipe. Now, there's some argument out there about how many sections you need and how deep you should clean it down to. I find that the top 4 to 6 foot is the only thing that really gets dirty on my unit. Yours may be different. And just that simple, it's now cleaned out. Now, if you don't happen to have one of these and you're in a position to where you need to clean it out, where it's a fire hazard, the quick old way guys used to do it is they take a log chain and put it down there, just kind of shake it, and it knocked the stuff off the sides of the pipe. It's not a great idea, but it works. So now you've got to see us rebuild our wood burner from beginning to end. It's now ready to go for the year. We've got a huge supply of wood, and we're going to get started burning probably in the next 2 or 3 days as the temperature drops. So I'm Tony with the Frugal Homestead, and we'll see you in the next one.